Hello, thank you for tuning into this week's section of reads. You should be seeing this on the YouTube channel James 13 Wicca, in case you're seeing it somewhere else. Also, the dice and the cards I'm using, they're going to be listed below. Other than that, let's go ahead and move ahead. If you would like a reading from me, of course, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for tuning in, and let's go ahead and get into yours. Hello, Taurus. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have? What do we have for Taurus? Excuse me. Your card. The Hierophant. Something going a little out of focus that you might be putting back in focus. Might be. Okay. Well, okay, so hopefully this is hitting at the right time to successfully put this back in focus. In other words, put it back where it's supposed to go and get it to stay there. Some flexibility might be required. If you don't want to be flexible, then you don't. But the adjustments you make may be temporary. We have to get into it a little bit more to find out what we're talking about. But this situation has been pretty good in the past. Taurus tends to be very realistic. In my opinion anyway. Kind of like, you're not expecting everything to be perfect in most situations. At least when Taurus energy gets more mature. Like I know a Taurus who has a bunch of kids, and she says, you know, she stopped expecting things to be where they were supposed to be after she had so many kids, because she's like, she was just going to drive herself nuts. So she readjusted her expectations, and things were pretty good based on her new expectations. And I feel like whatever this is, this situation, you saw it for what it was, you developed with it, and you're like, for what I expect from it, for what it can become, it was doing, for a while it did pretty well. But there's realistic expectations, and you had some very realistic expectations. Like, I would like it a certain way, but what I would really like it to be and what is realistic here isn't matching. So I adjusted my viewpoint on it, and things have gone pretty well. The situation, you seem to be fairly comfortable with it. Because again, realistic expectations. There's other people, other factors, whatever's going on here. You're sitting in a place where reality is your best friend. And what I mean by that is, like, it's kind of like living in a place, like I live in New York, for example. It's kind of like the weather's going to do what the weather's going to do. And that's the realistic viewpoint. Like, do I want a really cold winter? No, but this is New York, so it probably will happen. We're going to have some freezing temperatures. How much, how little? Who can say? But it's kind of being realistic, like whatever we get, whatever it is, got to deal with it, got to deal with it. Realistic. Not about liking every little piece of it, just kind of like, this is New York, this is winter, it is what it is. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So, when it's almost like the seasons coming in and out, you know what I mean? Do you expect it always to go fairly well? You expect sometimes to be more difficult than others, but it should be manageable. Should be manageable. There's going to be more rough periods. There's going to be easier periods, but it should be manageable either way. Very realistic. Very realistic. It's like you don't expect to run outside going skipping through the tulips and everything to be perfect in that sense. No. Just kind of like, it's going well. I feel like I'm enjoying it. Kind of like, it's realistic. It's going well. It's going well. What is this card? So, your prayers are being answered, and then the moon card. This next phase coming in it seems like it's going the right direction, but some of these, there's just some factors here, like the weather. You can only plan for so much. You know what I mean? It's kind of like getting a snowstorm in June, which has happened where I am. It has happened. Sometimes there's just going to be these weird events that just there's only so much you can plan for. Like once in a great while we get a tornado, and it's kind of like, what's up with that? Stuff like that. Is there something I'm missing here? King of Cups and the Death card reversed. So I feel like you're planning for changes to come. You're just not expecting them to come right away. But they're trying to give you a heads up. Like certain things you're thinking they'll come somewhere down the line are coming sooner than expected. You're having some early arrivals, if you will. Early arrivals, yeah. That's the mystery with the moon, is what I'm getting. And they're kind of like, you're ready for this, even though you may not agree with that when the timing happens the way it happens. You know what I mean? When people show up early or something comes a little bit too early, you're like, I wasn't quite ready for that. When the universe is saying, well, you're more ready than you thought. But you're going to be like, yeah, but no. Because there's things you're definitely planning for that are kind of in the page stage, which I think of like a 12 to 14-year-old. It's kind of like you wouldn't send this person out to create life on their own. You wouldn't say, hey, have fun with that job. You know, live your life. Bye. You wouldn't say that to like a 12-year-old. They have a few more years of learning and some things they got to get under their belt before they're ready to live life on their own. And you're planning for that and you're putting things together. I'm getting something's arriving sooner than expected. Something is arriving sooner than expected. What is this? Is this why? Justice. And then the King of Fire, but it comes in like this, which means could be some good things, could be some bad things from this. Might be a little bit self-serving, might be a little bit helpful. Kind of a mix on that one. There's a conflict coming in that's creating a change a lot quicker than I was expecting. Definitely a conflict coming in, creating a change a lot earlier than expected. You have the long-term plan down. I feel like they're trying to give you a heads up, like this long-term plan is going to need to be adjusted so it can start earlier than you wanted it to. It's almost like if you had a kid, for example, and you're like, I'm not expecting to go back to work for maybe a year, possibly 2 years. Something's changing where you're like, all right, we got to step that up, and it's going to be like a couple months, and I have to go back to work because of what's going on. It's either get back into your job or lose your job, so I got to go. I didn't want to do it that way. This is not to my plan, but I got to make the decisions I got to make. You have the ability to do a lot of healing for yourself and other people in this situation. You are not going to like it when it shows up. I'm not even going to pretend like you're going to be like, oh, that came early. I guess it's okay. No, there's going to be none of that. There's going to be none of that. It's going to be stressful to you, but you got the 10 of Wands, which is stress leading to success. You also got the Wheel of Fortune, which I feel bad because I don't think any of the earth signs like that Wheel of Fortune. Y'all like things to make sense and to be planned. And when that wheel shows up, even if it rolls a good way for you, it's still kind of like, no, I want it dependable. I don't want random. It's showing up. It's showing up. This situation is coming forward. You're not going to like it. They're not expecting you to like it. You can dig in your heels if you want to, clearly. You can try to fight it off and push it back and go, no, it's way too early for this. No, I don't want to do that now. No. You can play that as much as you want. It's not going to serve you, but you can try that. I mean, you're free to do what you have to do. They're just, the point of this reading is to kind of give you a heads up, like, that time you spent trying to fight it could be spent getting ready for what you have to do anyway. It's up to you. It's a general read. Take it with a grain of salt. Another option is to like see it for what it is, the random occurrence that it is. The Wheel of Fortune came in, but also the Towers coming in. And remembering that like you knew it was going to happen sooner or later, and just connecting to the success that you were already planning on. Like if it wasn't supposed to happen for 2 years, but it's going to happen in 2 months instead, it's reconnecting to like, all right, if this happened the way I wanted it to, the success I was going to get from it, doing it that way, I need to reconnect to that first. What is my goal for this situation? What do I want out of this situation? Even though it's happening a lot earlier than I want it to, and I keep getting like this 2 year becoming 2 months. That's a drastic difference. That's a huge difference. And like, it bothers me, honestly. I'm like, ugh. Even though it's a shock, you could still get your success. You can still have that. They're saying the sooner you focus on what you need to get out of this situation, the sooner this is going to start lining up where it needs to go for you. You are ready. You might not agree with that, but they're saying you are ready. It's not going to be comfortable, and you will have the help you need. There will be help to help you get forward. There will be whatever you need to get it online or get it where you need it to get to. It will be there for you. It will show up for you. I know that this all seems good, but like it just seems a little bit too easy, but maybe it's not. Okay, I think I understand why it seems a little too easy to me. There's going to be that feeling for a while that this isn't right. This isn't right. This isn't how this was supposed to go. This isn't right. And I feel like you're probably right on point with that. But it's still happening. If you're able to find a way to make peace with that, the energy can flow a lot better for you. The first part might just be addressing with yourself that you're not at peace with it. And then finding a way to sort that out in your own way. Because it's kind of like you want to move forward, but it's kind of like I feel like I almost have to grieve what I thought it was going to be. Like that time taken away from me. Like instead of 2 years, it's 2 months. So it's like that's 22. Isn't that 22 months? Like I lost 22 months of time I thought I was going to have. I feel like I have to grieve that time a little bit. Whatever that means for you. Like I have to sort through that. You might even need some counseling over it because to you it's a big thing. That means a lot. It doesn't matter if other people understand it. That doesn't matter. Finding somebody else who understands or can talk it out with you and help you come to terms with it. It's kind of like I feel like there's a version of grieving over that. And I feel like addressing that you are feeling that way, if that happens, if this plays out as it seems like it would, that makes a big difference. You're going to be looking for answers. I'm not feeling you're going to find acceptable answers. You might find reasons, but not acceptable reasons, if that makes sense. Like, it's kind of like I find answers, but not the answers that I don't think those answers are acceptable. So, like, it's almost like saying, oh, I hate this. I really hate this analogy. Why is the bank account empty? Because somebody stole the money. That's not acceptable. That's how I feel about it. It's like, well, isn't there insurance on it? Not for the amount you had in there. And I just feel like I get the answer, but it's not acceptable. The challenge is for this to not hold you down and to keep moving forward. You don't have to like what you're finding, but it's like when you get the answers, it's almost going, you know, it's not okay, it's never going to be okay, but it's done. It's done. I might even get more, I keep getting like, it bothers me that I'm using that analogy because I've worked in financial institutions. And there's typically some type of insurance on that, up to like 100,000, or it used to be. At least I think it used to be. And it's almost like maybe you had 200,000, and they're like, well, you got the 100,000 back because that was insured. The rest of it's just gone. It's kind of like, that's not acceptable. Well, that's how I feel about it. It bothers me. It really does bother me. Things will change due to this situation. You will find different ways to protect yourself and find different ways to make decisions so you don't end up in this mess again. But whatever happens here, and I hate that I was using that money analogy. I really hate that. But it's almost like if you're looking at the time version, like it was supposed to be 2 years, but instead it was 2 months, and then I had to go back. Once it's gone, it's gone. Once the time is gone, it's gone. Once the money's gone, it's gone. It's kind of like, this isn't how this was supposed to play out. This isn't right. But I also get, like, once it moves on, you might find deeper reasons to why, but the answers will never be acceptable. It'll never be okay. It's just building it from this point forward and trying to protect yourself from future events. This is just, like, a gruesome ending. Is there anything else I'm supposed to say with that? Like, it goes better, but I'm like, I don't know about that. You're probably not the only person that got things pushed forward too early. Because for a lot of you, it does feel like a timing thing. But it's kind of like the more energy I try to correct the past, the more I lose from the value of the future. I feel like they're trying to give you a heads up, because if you see it coming, or you start getting the heads up that something's coming your way, you might have a moment where you can plan a little better, just trying to jump ahead of it. It's kind of like, well, I don't want to accept it, but I know this is going to happen. Instead of fighting it, I'm just going to embrace it and make it work to my advantage the best I can. Some of you might find that an option. Some of you. I don't know. I feel like I want this to sound better, but I'm also one of those readers, like, whatever's there is there, and that's just the message I give. So, all right, I think I just got to accept it and let it go. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.